Thanks for tuning in to more horse racing coverage on the Playbook Sports Horse Report. I'm Greg DePalma, and Jon Hardoon is joining me once again from the Sheets. Jon, how's everything going?
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Mark Lawrence also from Playbook Sports. Mark, Florida Derby, your neck of the woods on Saturday.
Yeah, my neck of the woods. I'll be there Saturday, and hopefully it's going to be a nice day. The weather looks real promising. Looks like a typical South Florida Saturday.
All right, it's Florida Derby Day, so that's, of course, going to be our race of the week. The Ghost Zapper, that's going to be our first race. We're going to handicap in just a minute. And we are also going to have, this is new, we're going to have a bonus pick of the week. Jon is going to give his bonus pick of the week after our two races every week. So we have our first race, our premier race, and then Jon gives his bonus pick at the end of the show. So that's coming up a little bit later. Also want to make sure everybody checks out playbooksports.com. You can order a full card of selections for any track. That's a $25 value, and you'll receive any second track free. That's on the same day's races only.
Yeah, that's on the Horse Race Report, Greg. Click on the link at playbooksports.com. We also list the Road to the Derby, the standings of the current updated standings on the Road to the Derby. And before I get into the Ghost Zapper, Greg, I want to ask you, there's a new horse atop the leaderboard in the Road to the Derby. Just won the Louisiana Derby, Hot Rod Charlie, followed by Midnight Bourbon and Greatest Honored. Any comments you have about the Road to the Derby before we start?
Yeah, Jon, Hot Rod Charlie. It's strange. I mean, Hot Rod Charlie's at the top of the point standings, yet we know Hot Rod Charlie. I can't imagine that's going to be anywhere near the favorite. Maybe he will. I don't know. I know one of the favorite backed out over the past week since our last show. You can update everybody on that. But, yeah, looking at the point standings, it was Hot Rod Charlie getting the win at the Louisiana Derby. But keep in mind, there have only been two Louisiana Derby winners that went on to win the Kentucky Derby, and one of them was back in 1924.
As they come to the top of the fairground stretch, Mandaloon, Proxy looking to unwind on the far outside, then toward the inside right and just as they come for home. Star in My Dreams from Obesos and Run Classic. They come down toward this final furlong. It's Hot Rod Charlie and Midnight Bourbon needs to lift. Hot Rod Charlie finding for Joel Rosario. They come past the 16th. Hot Rod Charlie just holds Midnight Bourbon, and rattling home is Obesos. It's Hot Rod Charlie to win the TwinSpire.com Louisiana Derby.
Not only that, but it's only the points. It doesn't mean anything. It's only who has the most points. After this week, if they have another 3-year-old race, someone else will be the leaderboard. But the main story of this year's Derby so far is that Life is Good is out. Life is Good would have been the favorite. He was a Baffert horse that was 3 for 3. Lifetime, he actually worked his way down, make it 4 for 4. He ran a 5 last time out, and then he got hurt last Sunday in the workout. Nothing life-threatening. He'll be back for the Breeders' Cup and probably before that, but he's off the Derby trail. But when you're a guy like Baffert, he has nothing but a dream team, so he just goes to the bench and brings someone else in. He'll probably have the favorite in Concert Tour at this point, but again, it's too close and too early.
Jon, let me ask you this. The number 8 horse, or 8 in the standings, Essential Quality, that's a horse that I've really got my eye on. What's your thoughts on that horse?
I like that horse. That's one of the top contenders, in my opinion. I mean, points, he's number 8 because he didn't run in points races yet. As you get closer to the Derby, they become more valuable, the races, as far as points is concerned. Like last week, the race at Fairgrounds, that was 100 points. I think it was the first 100-point race of the year. The races before that were 50-pointers, so that's why.
And we've got a Baffert horse in the Florida Derby here, which we'll be talking about.
Yeah. I don't like him, but yeah.
All right. Also want to shout out to winningponies.com. I was checking out the standings for the Derby, and some of these big websites, if I took an image of it, it would have taken up the whole screen and maybe 5 screens. So I couldn't do that. But this website, winningponies.com, check that out because they do a really good job of laying out the Derby point standings in a very condensed and understandable nature. So
I've got them also, Greg, on our Horse Race Report at Playbook Sports. So that Road to the Derby list is posted
Excellent.
there as well.
All right. Sounds good. Let's get this show started. By the way, now, you know what? I'll say that for when we talk about the Florida Derby. Okay, let's get going. Race 8. This is the Goat Sapper, a grade 3, mile and an eighth. This is for 4-year-olds and up. I wanted to ask you, John, when you take a look at the one, Last Judgment, this 9-5 horse, what's the difference? I see this 5 that he had at Belmont, that's 6.5 furlongs. Then I see the 5 at Gulfstream Park, which is at this distance. And I could sit there and go, okay, well, you know, we bounced this or the date that or whatever. But when I look at a 5 at 6.5 furlongs and I look at a 5 at a mile and an eighth, how do I differentiate whether or not this horse, where did those 5s come from?
Well, he was a 4-year-old when he ran the first 5, so he has, you know, a license to improve. Horses improve with age, you know, until a certain point, till about 6 years old, I would say. For the most part, I mean, obviously there are exceptions to every rule. So he sprinted and he ran the 5 and he went long and ran the 5. So that's really strong. When you got a horse that could do everything, which this horse, you know, could, that's, you know, some horses are only good going long and some horses are only good going short.
Okay.
This horse shows you that he's somewhat of an exception to the rule. He runs whatever he has to run when he runs.
So that's what I get out of that more than anything. Is that is a major plus for a horse that can do that. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Anyway, what do you think about Last Judgment?
Well, I don't really like him. I mean, can he win? He could certainly win, but I don't think he's any value at 9-5. You know, I mean, even if he runs another 8, I don't think he's moving forward to the 5. He's back off of Lasix today, and the last 8 that he ran was with Lasix, but he also ran the 5 3 starts back without Lasix. So he's kind of a hard horse to read. Can he win? Of course he can win, but, you know, I try to find some value and, you know, if I keyed a horse that was somewhat of a price, I would include him.
Okay.
But it really depends on price. Listen, there are only 7 horses in the race.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, this is not going to be a big payday race.
2 of them don't really have much of a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically make a case for at least 4 of the other, you know, 3 or the other.
All right, so the 2 Eye of the Jedi, the thing that you don't like here is the last 3 races, 5, 6, 10, going in the wrong direction, 6 years old, 31 races, only 2 wins out of 15 on a fast track.
Well, I don't know why you think he's going in the wrong direction. From a 6 off of a 5 isn't terrible.
No,
you know,
5, 6, and 10.
Yeah, I understand, but the 6 that he ran was off the 5.
Sure.
So he figured to react, and he only reacted a point, which was okay. The problem was the 10 after that.
Yeah.
But listen, a lot of times last year he ran the 11s and bounced right back to the 5. He has a shot to make a forward move. He's 7-2. Again, this is a tough race, and if he ran an 8 off of this, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, but now that he's 6, maybe the 5 and 6 that he ran 2 and 3 races back has taken its toll. And maybe he needs some more time from that.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, I would favor the 1 a little bit because at least the 1 you're talking about.
Yeah, the 1's going to be a much shorter price than the 2.
Yeah, that's the So
yeah, have to wait.
That's the negative, sure. Yeah. All right, 3. Nothing to like about the 3 or what? 10-1, 9s. That's the best we've seen from the 3. Just Whistle.
Yeah. Well, he's also a 6-year-old, and you're not going to see better than the 9s at this point in his career. 3 years ago, he did run a 7 once. Listen, he has a shot to make a forward move to the 9, but I don't particularly like him.
All right, Superfecto, the 4 is a 5-1 shot. And hopefully, you know, the odds stay 5-1, 6-1, that range, because this is the horse I want to put into my exacta. He's got 2 9s and a 7. I like that. One of the bad races was on a sloppy track, and it was at 7 furlongs, so I like that. Matter of fact, both bad races were the shorter races, so I like that. So if I'm looking at the longer races, 9-9-7 out of 3 is pretty good. He doesn't have a lot of experience, but again, if I'm looking for value, this is not a bad idea.
I happen to agree with you here. This was going to be my top pick, and the reason being, in career start number 2 is his only race around 2 turns. This 9 and the 7 that he ran last year, this year I should say, those are 1-turn miles.
Okay.
The 9 that he ran in career start number 2 was around 2 turns at Gulfstream. It was 1 mile and a 16th that day. Now he's a better horse than he was last year, and he's going back to 2 turns. So I think he has a shot to run a new top today, and he's the longest shot out of the horses that are live in the race. So that's
Yes.
why I ended up on it.
Let me ask you, you were saying the difference between running 1 turn, 2 turns. How can we see that either on the form or the sheets?
Well, usually on the sheets, the hollow numbers are usually 1 turn. But you can look at the track diagram on the top of your racing form or your past performances.
Okay, got it.
You'll see the full circle. So that's telling you that it's 2 turns. But, as you become more experienced, the tracks what the distances are at the tracks. Like take, for example, Belmont Park. Every distant race at Belmont Park, with the exception of 1.25 miles and up, are 1 turn. That's how big the circumference of the track is. This track, everything up to 1 mile is 1 turn. After 1 mile and a 16th, mile and an eighth is 2 turns. And you learn that Churchill, mile is 1 turn. Keeneland, 1 mile is 2 turns. So, you just learn that from experience of playing the tracks. But again, if you don't know, you just look at the diagram on the top of the race in your racing.
And you said the sheets. What's a hollow number? What does that look like?
The 7 and the 9 on Superfecto. You're looking at.
Let me get it. Pump it up here. I might. Wait, is that going to go over this? Okay, good. It won't. Let's see. This is the 8th race. Superfecto. 1 second. Where am I? I got to go all the way down here.
4 horse in the 8th race here,
Yeah,
Craig.
I got to run all the way down. All right.
By the way, when you get sheets, they give you a cheat sheet that shows you all the symbols.
There it is. Superfecto. Got it?
The numbers are hollow. The 7 is a hollowed out number.
All right.
Hollowed out number. That's a mile.
And then the 9 is hollow too, isn't it?
Which 9?
Above the 7?
This year. Yeah, both of those races
Both of those are hollow.
mile.
Got it.
The 9 last year is solid.
Okay. So it's either going to be hollow or solid. Okay.
Right. And if you get to the marathon distances, then they become italicized.
You were asking that question before, weren't you, Mark, to me?
Yeah, but
I was trying to familiarize myself with all the symbols.
Right.
And, glad I got a cheat sheet. For sure.
Yeah. All right. And Mark's got some questions for you. We'll do that in between the races. King Slew, we don't like King Slew.
Well, he never ran on the dirt. He's like a first-time starter.
And we don't like Violent City.
No, but your problem is War Stopper.
Yes, it is. The 2-to-1 shot ran 2 6s at Gulfstream in his only 2 races at Gulfstream. And they both were the only 2 races that Ortiz has been on board. It's a Pletcher horse. This is good. This number is going to go backwards, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing. Pletcher got the horse, took over the training for the first 6 last year. Then, for Pletcher, he's got 6-6. The 11 was a ship to Tampa, and he had trouble in that race. So I could excuse that bad race. He's 2-to-1. If he runs a 6, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
He's probably going to win if he runs a 6.
Yeah, that's why I like this. That's why I'm going to go with the 6 and a 4 in the exacta and hope that the odds with the 4 aren't that bad.
Well, no, the 4 is going to be the longest shot out of the horses that have a chance. Yeah.
All right, what are you going to do, John?
I'm just going to bet the 4-to-1 and hope that he runs. He's 5-to-1. He's going to be at least that price, and he's going to offer some value.
Mark, you have anything on the race?
Well, I'll say this to John's horse, the 4 horse, Superfecto. Ralph Nix is a trainer for the course. He's a high percentage trainer at Gulfstream. He's off of 2 optional claiming races, and I felt he used those races to prep for this particular race. He ran 3rd in the Challenger at Tampa Bay in his last race. He ran 3rd to what John feels might be the favorite in this race at Last Judgment. My question to John is this, what if Last Judgment, John, does not go off the favorite in this race, and in fact, the 6 horse does? Is there value here now at that point for Last Judgment?
Yeah, well,
he's also won the Grade 3 Challenger, but go ahead, I'm sorry.
Last Judgment has the advantage of breaking from the inside, going 1 mile and an eighth. It's a big edge. And he's also has speed. So, he becomes a stronger play to me than War Stopper, only because of position and where he's going to be on the track.
Well, Michael Maker has the horse. He claimed him 4 races back and worked him into a stakes horse, which we're going to see here in this particular race. So I'm looking myself at the 1 horse Last Judgment, like John says, if he's not chalk in the race. So we're hoping we see some money coming to the 6 horse. But with you, I like the Ralph Nix horse as well, that 4-horse Superfecto.
All right.
You know, the one horse was cut out to be a nice horse. He was originally trained by Pletcher. They probably paid a lot of money for him. And then Pletcher gave up on him and put him in a claiming race. And he was claimed two races, you know, his last two times he was claimed. He was claimed by Morley, and then he was claimed away from Falcone. So, you know, now they figured, Maker obviously has the key to this horse. He figured him out. So, you know, but again, the one was originally cut out to be a nice horse, never materialized, but maybe he's getting good now.
All right. Before we jump on the Florida Derby, Mark, you have a question for Jon regarding the sheets.
Well, the question I had for Jon was basically what we reviewed at the top of the show, Greg, and that was all about the symbols and primarily what they meant. We got that all ironed out because of the cheat sheet, so I'll just say let's move on to the Florida Derby at this point.
Well, actually, I'm posting the image right now so people can see what it looks like. So bottom line, you're looking at one of the horses, Sadler's Joy. I believe this is race 10. Races a lot of
marathon races.
And also turf. So you've got the green color. You've got the italicized. So that's everything right there. And that's what you're looking at.
That was everything we were asking about, right, in that Sadler's Joy
that's
horse,
what it
yes.
looks like. All right, let's move on with the Florida Derby. 20 Florida Derby winners have won a Triple Crown race in the same year. 15 have won the Kentucky Derby, most recently Always Dreaming in 2017. And a lot of horses I remember. I mean, Nyquist, Orb, Big Brown, Barbaro, Monarchos, Thunder Gulch, Unbridled, Swale, and Spectacular Bid have all won both the Florida Derby and the Kentucky Derby. Let's get started, Jon. Mile and an eighth. That's the Florida Derby. And Nova Rags, we haven't talked anything about Nova Rags this year. He's 12 to 1. His best races were 212s.
Yeah, and the last one was on Lasix, and last time out he was not on Lasix at Tampa, but he's yet to run a single digit. You're going to need a single digit with this group. So, therefore, he didn't make the cut.
All right. Quantum Leap. This is a 20 to 1 shot coming off his best race. That was a 13. And the good news is the horse did it at this distance, and he did it at Gulfstream Park.
The bad news is it's a big top, and he figures to react and not run well off of it. But he is lightly raced, and last time was his first time at a distance. So, you know, if you're looking to make a case for him. But then again, there's another horse that's yet to run a single digit. And you're going to see there's at least 3 or 4 horses in this race that are eligible to run single digits.
The 3 has improved in all 3 races, but the best was the last race. That was a 16, running 5th way back in the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, he's going to have to do a lot better. And again, he's too slow.
All right, the 4 Southern Passage, a 30 to 1 shot. This horse shouldn't even be in the field, right?
No, he ran a 13 top last time out, another one that figures to react, and he's stretching out to 2 turns. Last year, as a 2-year-old, his only 2-turn race was the worst race of the year when he ran a 24 at Churchill. That was with some trouble, but I don't like it.
All right, now the 5, Known Agenda. This is the first time we're going to get to one of the contenders. You got a Pletcher-Ortiz combo. Last race at Gulfstream, and also at this distance, was his best race. Ran a 9 in that race. Before that, it was only about 20 days where he ran a 15. So now he's going to be about, 4 weeks since this? So, you know, it's the bounce rate is possible, but 5 to 1. I mean, what do you think about the number there?
Well, the problem with this horse is he had a Lasix pop last time out. It was first time Lasix, and he ran the 9. Now he's coming off of Lasix tomorrow, and he's probably bouncing. So for those 2 reasons, I could play against him. You know, it's a new top. He ran a 13 as a 2-year-old, so he's obviously eligible to run 9s and 10s this year. But he ran a big top, and it was first time Lasix that he ran that 9. Tomorrow he comes off of Lasix. You know, they put blinkers on him last time also. So what was it, the blinkers, the Lasix? I think it's more likely that it was the Lasix than the blinkers. And for that reason, I would play against him.
And I would be concerned if he gets overpriced because of Pletcher. That would be my concern.
Yeah, look what he goes off every week. He goes off 5 cents to a Miller. I mean, he's always the favorite. He's obviously not going to be the favorite in this race tomorrow. However, that being said, he's going to certainly take some money because of the connections. And I don't think there's much value in him. I think he'll be shorter than the 5-1.
The 6 has no chance, correct?
Well, unless they're running on the grass, and they're not running on the grass, so he has no chance.
Yeah, his only dirt race was a 28. All right, Greatest Honor. This could be the favorite right now to win the Kentucky Derby. In his 3 races at Gulfstream Park, 7, 7, 9, won the Fountain, won the Holy Bull. He's going to go off as a heavy favorite, no value.
No, but he's the most likely winner in the race. He bounced to the 9 off the 7 minus 2 starts back. He had a 7 as a 2-year-old. He's running a 7 or better tomorrow. Show me who's going to do better than that.
We need an exacta is really what we need. We need to find a horse with Greatest Honor.
That's what you're looking for, in my opinion.
And maybe even a trifecta. You got to look at it where you're saying, okay, if I feel real confident Greatest Honor is going to win the race, then I'm looking for an exacta at 2nd and 3rd. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you got to try to turn a 3-5 shot into a 5-1 shot. Is what you're going to do.
All right.
Or you could sit back and watch the race.
Yeah, you could do that too.
You don't have to bet.
The 8 Soup and Sandwich ran a 12 in his first race, so that's good at Gulfstream. Won that easily, stretched out to a mile, won that race. So what do you think about 20-1 shot to get into the money?
No, he's 2 for 2. This is his first time around 2 turns. That 14 last time was a 1 turn. Oh, no, that was Tampa. That was a 2-turn mile. I don't like this horse. He's not seasoned enough, and he's just not fast enough.
All right, the 9 is the 6-1 shot Collaborate. Good trainer, good rider. They like this horse a lot, put some big money on it. Gulfstream, 13 to start out on a sloppy track. So we're good with that, considering it was sloppy, first race 5th. Then, second race, Gulfstream Park, runs a 10 and wins the race. So, again, we're looking for value. What about Collaborate?
Well, I don't know. Is 6-1 value?
In this race, it might be.
Okay. Well, listen, he has 2 races.
He's going to be the 3rd choice,
wrong.
right? Or maybe the 4th choice.
Well, his last race was ultra impressive visually. He won by 12 lengths. I don't know what he beat in that race. And now he's going 2 turns for the first time. So, listen, you can't knock a horse that hasn't done anything wrong. And you have to see the odds at post time to tell you the truth.
Spielberg is 4-1. This is the Baffert horse. Is Spielberg a definite bounce candidate here, running that 9 last time out?
Not really, because he has 10s as a 2-year-old. The problem with him is that race was run at Oaklawn on a sloppy track. Oaklawn sloppy track is completely different than a fast track at Gulfstream. He liked the track. He was in the right part of the track. He was wide throughout when the inside was not the place to be. I want to play against this horse at 4-1. That's going to be the short exact, the Greatest Honor and Spielberg.
Yes.
That's the one they're all going for. That's going to be the $4 exacta because it's Baffert and everything else. But I could do without him.
Yeah, I mean, that's because, look, this horse is running a lot of big races, and he's only won 1 of them.
Yeah, well, he's won 2 races.
I thought the big races.
Oh, okay.
So, okay. And then Papatoo. Now, Papatoo gave Greatest Honor a run for his money until he faded down the stretch in the Fountain Youth.
Well, that was a mile and a 16th, and he faded. So what's going to happen when you go an 1/8 of a mile?
Yep.
He's going to fade a little sooner, probably.
See ya.
So
all right. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go 7. Well, I mean, my decision's got to be between the 5 and the 9.
Right.
And maybe I'll try a trifecta between the 3 of them. But the 5 and the 9. Who would you take if you had to choose between the 5 and the 9, John?
It's tough, but I probably would take the 5 only because he has more experience.
Yeah.
I know the last race was the top with the Lasix and everything, the whole case I made against him. But looking at the rest of the field, by default, he's liable to get second.
Who do you like? What's your picking to be?
I'll go with 7-5 exacta and hope for the best.
All right. So we both have 7-5 there, and maybe we'll go 7-5-9 try.
Hey.
Anything before we move on to John's play of the week, Mark?
Well, I know where John didn't like the 8-horse. Thinks he's too slow. He comes from Tampa in his last race. Very lightly raced, 2 for 2 in his career. Mark Cassidy and Johnny Velasquez is a real nice combination here. He broke his maiden here at 6.5 furlongs. They stretched him out to 1.40 at Tampa. He's been nominated for the Kentucky Derby. One of these horses that you don't know a lot about, but if this horse is improving, I think this horse can hit the board and be a part of all of your exactas and your money. He's my scary sleeper horse, the 8-horse here. You mentioned Papatu, Greg. He was making a strong move around the turn, and he got caught coming home. He either got caught or he just flat out died, as John says. Why is he going to stretch out further here? But if he's better conditioned, he was 3rd in the Fountain Youth. He was 2nd in the Holy Bull. He belongs in this race. The other horse that I would comment on would be Collaborate. Saffie Joseph, Tyler Gaffleone, broke his maiden here and then stretched him out to a mile. I think he's moving in the right direction, that horse. I think he has to be looked here at as well. I'm not going to be surprised. John says this Greatest Honor looks to be the best horse. He'll put up the best number and move on. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to be surprised if Greatest Honor does not win this race. He won impressively in the manner in which he won the last race, but it looked for the longest time. I'm sorry.
He didn't get going till late.
That was that come from behind race.
Visually, it was not impressive. I understand he won by 5 or whatever, but that was the shortest 5-length win I ever saw. For a long time, I never thought he was getting there, honestly. But the number's a number. So that, to me, the number's a number, and a lot of times it's usually right.
Yeah, anytime you're a closer, that's a tricky thing.
Soup and sandwich. The problem with your soup and sandwich, I would never knock the 20-1 shot. But last time out, he was in a 3-horse field, 3 horses. So,
he had to win.
No, he's just light on experience. He's never been back tested. He's never been in a full field of 11 horses going 2 turns. Even the first race he was in a 6-horse field. So now he gets battle tested for the first time. When you go off 20 cents or whatever, 20 cents to the dollar last time out in your second career start, you should know that it wasn't that good of a field. I don't think. It was an optional claimer also.
So Greatest Honor wins this race. He becomes the favorite for the Kentucky Derby with Baffert's horse being out, I would say. A lot of pedigree with the winner of the Florida Derby to the Kentucky Derby. But I'm going to say this before we close out here. I'll go back to Quality Road when he won the Florida Derby. And I was touted on that horse long before the Fountain of Youth, the Holy Bull, before the Florida Derby on Quality Road, and bought him early at a nice big price. He's the favorite in the Kentucky Derby, and he scratches out. That's what makes it difficult betting horses on futures.
Future bet's the worst bet in the world that you can make because most of the time,
I learned my lesson the hard way. Yes.
Most of the time, the odds the day of the race are going to be just as long as they were in your future book, unless you get 150 to 1. You should never make a future book bet on horses getting less than 100 or 150 to 1 because so much. Look at It's a Good Life. This horse was the favorite with 6 weeks to go, and he got hurt. So everyone that bet It's a Good Life, you rip up your tickets. What's the point? And he wasn't even a price in the future book. So, most future bet horses, future book bet horses are bad. They're bad plays. You don't get true value, and you really take the worst of it.
Every time I look to make a future bet, I think of Quality Road because I had him at 100 to 1 before everything.
And he would have been.
Everything happened in his favor, and I tore up the ticket.
Exactly.
Right. All right.
Greg, play of the week. Let's go to the 6th race.
Appleton Stakes, John. Let's go ahead and hear what you have to say about, and this is the 6th race at Gulfstream.
Right. I like the number 4 horse in here, Ever Dangerous. This is a 4-year-old colt from the George Weaver barn. Second start back off of a layoff. This horse has 7 career starts, has never gone backwards. Each race in his career is better than the previous one. He's got time since that race. He shows 2 workouts. Edgar Zayas aboard to ride. 7 morning line. I like number 4, Ever Dangerous, to win tomorrow's 6th race out at Gulfstream Park.
All right, John. Appreciate it as always. We'll talk.
See you next week. Stay safe.
Yeah, what do we have next week? Anything big, or we got a couple of weeks before some more big races?
I don't know. We'll check it out during the week. I'm sure you'll post it.
I'm sure I will. Thanks, John. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, guys. Stay safe.
Guys, have a great week. Enjoy the races. May the horse be with all of us. Thank you.